Hello, friends. This is the Grow Podcast, and I'm Wendy Jo, and this is Ashley.
Hey, Wendy Jo, how are you?
I am doing great. I am excited about this topic today herbs. Love herbal remedies. And yeah, so I can't wait to hear about our first herb that we're going to talk about. Um, I'm going to call her Miss Blue Lotus. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. You gave her a title, Miss Blue Lotus. Yeah, she's something, isn't she? Um, so you had your first experience with her recently, right?
I did. I saw you posting about it, and I got really curious, and and then you mentioned that it can help to reduce anxiety and help with sleep,
Hmm.
which is great. I'm always looking for different avenues to that for not only myself but people that I work with. Um, and then I read about it, and it sounded great. And then, of course, when things are great, man has to make these laws about it
Yeah.
to limit what you can have. So it made me a little nervous. I was able to obtain some, and it was very calming, I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I had been keeping an eye on her for a long time. And so because what I knew about like the potential for there being laws, and so I was like, thinking I was going in for something, terrible or illegal, or somebody was going to judge me. I don't know. But when I came, it was such like it was at my favorite metaphysical shop. It was sitting in a little plastic baggie waiting for me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was, and the crazy thing was, I didn't even know they sold it there. It wasn't until the lady who worked there like pointed to it, was like, "Oh yeah, that's Blue Lotus," and I'm like, "Why are you telling me that?" But anyway, so I went and I asked about it. I did some research on it, and the thing that really drew me to it was the sleep aspect, because that's something that I had to deal with for a long time, trying to figure out how to get a good quality of sleep.
Mhm.
But the lucid dreaming part of it, and so it does have some psychedelic components and I've heard that some people had them, but
Mhm.
I did not when I
Yeah.
drank it. I drank it as a tea, but I did have it felt like I had a full night's sleep, like I had did something like a full day's work. It was like a full night's sleep kind of thing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I got a little nervous. So I do this kind of thing all the time. So I did read about it, but I didn't see that in the first run of doing a little bit of background on it.
Hmm.
And then I used the tincture under my tongue, which is a really quick route. It was in the afternoon. I didn't have anything more to do until like later that night. And then I read about that.
Oh, you took it and then read about it.
And I was like, oh, I think I'll drink a bunch of water
Yeah.
and go for a walk. And it was just a calming experience. I didn't have any of that. I didn't take it right before bed. It was like in the afternoon to kind of just relax a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing about it that I found very interesting was its ancient roots in ancient Egypt and how they represent the blue lotus in their hieroglyphs.
Hmm.
And so, like, everything that I've been working with recently has had, like, for me, in order for me to really tap into the energy of it, I have to understand the history of it a
Mm-hmm.
little. And I'm not a history buff, like, hated it in school, but it's become very important for me to understand the story. And so being able to tap into that, and like, they used it in ritual and ceremony and things like that, and honoring it the way that it once was honored, I find it really fun to do. So
Sure.
I don't know, what do you think about that?
I think that well, a few things. I mean, we carry. So recently, I read something that said, you have been alive since your mother was in the womb because you get all your eggs. A woman has all her eggs
Mm,
starting from, when they're in the womb. And it blew my mind and made me really think about not only generational trauma, but just generational everything about all of our ancestors, right? So who knows, going way, way back, like we're all really from the same place,
mm,
really.
yeah,
And way, in the beginning, whenever
yeah.
that was, I don't know. People have all different theories about that. Um, so where am I going with this? There's something about that I believe that when you start to grow spiritually, you're 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 in some way drawn to these stories because it's all of us. Like it's you relate to it in some way. So I think there's that, but I also think there's past life to think about. Um, I do believe in reincarnation. I'm not sure if do you believe in
Yeah,
reincarnation?
I do.
Okay, so maybe there's some connection to ancient Egypt for you. We don't know,
Yeah.
but or maybe several. I believe we've all had several lifetimes. Um, so who knows? But if that piece, knowing the history, helps you with your own healing in some way, it's got to be related either to something generational or past lives, I think.
I think, and I mean, I don't even have it down here with me, but I found a stone yesterday and I was so attached to it because, and we're not talking about that right now, but it's the energy of like just knowing where it was found and like seeing the
Mm-hmm.
image of the person who found it, the miner, and like to know, like having all of this information about like its source to me
Mm-hmm.
has like it has really been the thing that has drawn me to everything that I've been playing with lately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and allowing me to connect to it in a way that feels almost like a real relationship. Like it's weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And Blue Lotus sounds like is no different. You were drawn to it for probably several reasons, your own healing with sleep, working with other people maybe who have sleep issues, and then this past life possibly, or something generational that's just in your DNA. you
Yeah.
know so it's very cool, and I'm glad that you find some peace with it. And um I kind of like, so because I found out after, like I don't know what to do with it. Like I was like, I'm such a, I am not, I try to follow the rules, as best I can. Although there is something like with cannabis, I remember in the beginning, like really loving that that it wasn't all, legal. There's something about that
Yeah.
that, kind of stirs you up a little bit. Like I'm going to do what helps me, and and I want other people to be able to do that too. So let's just do it. Um, so I don't know why there has to be restrictions on plants. I just don't understand it.
Well, I think it's a fear of the power that it holds, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So they say it's psychedelic, and that hasn't been my experience, but I have talked to people where it has been. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, similar to like mushrooms, that's comparably not probably as intense as what I'm hearing is what it's like. And so when you're able to tap into these other realms with just the consumption of a plant, like that is in a lot of cases of what taps you into spirit, and spirit is the thing that makes us powerful humans. And so and especially when you're talking about like lucid dreaming, the power in that,
Mm-hmm.
the I mean, golly, what how can you exert this power in your dream life? How can you show up and you exert it in your physical presence too?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all based off of what one plant can do. So of course we got to restrict it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know when mankind will learn, but hopefully, I'd love to see it in my lifetime.
Yeah.
that humans, are sovereign and should be able to make their own decisions
Yeah,
about, especially with regard to your health, you know.
for sure.
So on that note, we will be right back. Well, today we're talking about herbs on the Grow podcast, and I spoke about some of my favorites in the show, but I really wanted to highlight terpenes because my favorite herb, the cannabis plant, of course, can be very terpene rich, depending on the strain. Terpenes are found in plants. They're the oils that are found in plants. And some of my favorites that I find in the cannabis plant are beta-caryophyllene, which can really help with inflammation and pain. And it has kind of a black peppery taste. And then myrcene, which is very, very relaxing. And often I use it when I'm trying to fall asleep. I'll take a little bit of isolated myrcene and put it under my tongue. So you can buy the terpenes isolated or enjoy them in your favorite cannabis strain. And definitely check them out because they are the secret sauce.
And we're back. In the next segment, I wanted us to talk about your experience with oat straw. So I want to say before you even say anything that I've never tried oat straw, so I'm here to learn in this conversation.
All right, sounds good. I am new to oat straw, and when I found it, I was like, "Where have you been?" Like,
Really?
seriously, because all of the properties and things that it can really help you with are things that I struggle with. So
Mm,
I'm like all in one herb, you know, how can this be that I somehow missed this one?
yeah.
But we're always learning, right? So oat straw, it's not like, you know, the oatmeal that you cook up and put a little cinnamon and butter in or whatever you like in your oatmeal. Um, it's not the little crunchy oats. It's actually the stalk of the plant before it's ready,
Mm,
and so it's not reached maturity yet, and that's where the oat straw comes from. So some of the things that it helps, it's just amazing. So nervous system, it acts as a nerve tonic to kind of calm your nervous system, so that helps with anxiety, helps with even neuropathy symptoms. I've seen a difference since drinking. I just drink a cup of the tea
mm.
like once a day.
Oh,
And I have seen some of the benefits. So that was really attractive to me because I have those issues. And then it's an anti-inflammatory,
mhm.
which is I just can't believe I missed this herb all these years.
Yeah.
It's an anti-inflammatory. Um, it also can help with skin rashes. I have psoriasis. I mean, you can like put it in the tub. You can put it on your skin, you know, as a poultice. But definitely helps to calm any skin rashes, or just kind of calm your skin in general.
Yeah.
It helps with digestion. Um, and it also is calcium rich. So it fortifies your bones. So it's fortifying your nervous system, your bones, your digestive system. It's just like, I just can't believe all the things that it does, you know?
That is fascinating. And even with the skin, so that was the first thing I thought about because it's oat straw, and the
Yeah.
first analogy you made was about oatmeal. And so it's cool to know that because, you know, when you have chicken pox or something, they say put oatmeal on your skin and it will soothe it. So yeah, that's very
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, and the added benefit would be, you know, usually when you have something like that, chicken pox, you know, a lot of bites or whatever, you're also feeling really anxious. So, in addition to soothing and fortifying your skin, it's calming your nervous system at the
Yeah.
same time. So, it's even better than using oats and like in an oatmeal bath.
Yeah.
Um, and so, there are other properties too. I think I got the main ones though. Oh, it's an antioxidant and
Okay.
it also fortifies the heart because it can help lower cholesterol.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting that it kind of hits like all the major systems. I mean, your skin is your largest organ, your bones, your nervous system, your digestive system, you know. So it's kind of like an all in one, which is very cool because let's face it, you know, these herbal remedies are all out of pocket for payment. And if you need one for each of those things, you know, you could spend quite a bit of money. Whereas you could buy some oat straw tea and give that a try. And maybe it will cover, you know, most of those things together for you.
Yeah, very cool. And so when you took it, did you said you had it in a tea? Did you
Mhm.
experience any sensations from it? Like what was that experience for you?
So mostly for me, I do feel that it calms my nervous system. I have been drinking just one cup of it each day for a couple of weeks now because I made it the herb of the month at Edge Coaching and Consulting. So I've been talking about it a lot and and drinking it, and I do see a difference even with just that. You know, it's I'm drinking it now. This
Oh, so
cup.
fun.
Yeah. And I put quite a bit in I have not a tea ball, but it's like a thing that sits on the cup and you can fill it up if you want to, or I fill it about halfway. So it's pretty potent.
Mhm.
Um, and I recommend doing that anyway with herbs because when you buy tea bags at the store, like chamomile or, you know, any of those teas, there's not very much in one tea bag. Like it's not, if you're not seeing an effect from one tea bag, it's because it's not a big enough dose, you know. So the loose tea where you can figure out what's really going to work for you really is much better. But if you don't like teas, you know, you can buy the tincture. You can, as I said, you can make a poultice. You can put it in the bath, and you just have to kind of figure out how much you need, you know, for your body.
Yeah, and I think
Um,
that's the biggest variable is that everybody is different. Everybody responds to everything differently. Um,
sure.
and I wanted to comment on the point about tea bags. I've also noticed that tea bags have other things in them.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are dyes in it or like additional flavors that they'll put in it. And at this point in my tea drinking experience, which isn't long, I don't know if I can tolerate the additional add-on flavors. Like it feels
Mm-hmm.
like it's in my mouth. Like it's just something very gross about it for some
Yep.
reason. And this is new, so I don't want to sound like I'm like, I
Well,
don't know.
I think you're becoming more sensitive, you know, because you know, you're working with energy, with Reiki, um, all this spirituality stuff that you're doing. You're just becoming more and more sensitive, and that affects all your systems.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's happening in real time. And
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
but yeah, so when if teas for pleasure, teas for like drinking, teas for medicine, they're different.
Yes.
And so being intentional about what it is you put in your tea and consuming. Some people talk about these herbal blends, and I really don't understand why I would buy an herbal blend and I don't know what's in my blend.
If you so you want to always go to a reputable source, just like with crystals. You know, herbs are no different. Is it organic? Where is it grown? Is it made? You know, if it's coming from China, likely they don't have the same standards. You know, so buy local, find a local herbalist. Or if you don't know one, you know, birthsongbotanicals.com. I love her stuff. Maria is, you know, I know what her intention is, you know, and it goes into the medicine, you
Yeah.
know. So that's a good one. But, you know, and there are others too. I love Jenny Dietzel is a naturopath here in Fayetteville, and she has a company that I can't remember the name of at the moment, but hopefully we'll get it on the screen for you. She has a tea. It's called Calm as F tea,
Oh,
and and it's got quite a bit of chamomile, I think lemon balm, some other things in it. It is a blend, but it's all herbs.
mhm.
And if you really need a quick calming, a cup of that, let me tell you, it's really good.
Yeah,
So you know, look where you live. You know what's local to you. Local's always better if they're growing it right there where you live. That's going to be better for you anyway.
for sure, for sure. Yeah, 100%. And I think, it takes a little bit of time to find a reputable source,
Mm-hmm.
to know where you can trust where herbs come from. I was talking to somebody, and I don't know how you feel about this, but somebody was like, if you're going to drink herbs, you have to grow the herbs, you have to dry the herbs, you have to prepare the herbs, like go through the whole process. And I'm not sure I agree with that. Like, I don't know if I have to be the full supply chain for my
Right. So I think that it's wise to learn to do it. I
Mhm.
don't think that you have to do it to get the best medicine, but I do believe that everyone should learn to be self-sufficient, and that means making your own medicine, whatever that is. So I do make tinctures. I haven't really made teas. I don't think. No, I don't think I have. Um, I don't think it's a bad idea to learn, but find a reputable source. If you're not drawn to it and not loving the process, it's not for everybody.
No. And I've
Um,
been and I've been learning that. So I'm not I create the foundation, I create the base of stuff, and my husband makes it into something.
Nice. Your
If
team. I love it.
yeah, because if you ask me to make it into something, I done got tired. I don't want like
Mm-hmm. Yep. I feel that. Yeah. Well, going back to the oat straw, I just want to mention there are a couple of considerations to think about. It can lower your blood sugar. So just be aware of that if you're diabetic. And monitor. It may or may not, but if it does do that for you, maybe it's a good thing. And you can figure that out. And then it also can act as a blood thinner as well. So you just want to be aware of those things. And if you do have access to a naturopath or an herbalist, chat with them about it. If you have health conditions.
yeah, for sure. It's very wise, especially if you are already interfacing with Western medicine
Mm-hmm.
to consult with them whenever you're trying any other holistic options. And it's not just herbs, it can go down to, sound, it can go to, any cannabis, all of those things. If you're going to put it in your body, definitely consult with somebody. I had a conversation with somebody and talking about crystal water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even that, certain crystals, if you put a crystal in your water, it can turn into a toxin.
Oh, yeah, because Chandra was talking about that on the last Crystal show, the part two. But she did say, some not every crystal can be submerged in water, so you have to really be aware, and you have to be aware of your source with those too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
So good point. All right. Well, we will be right back.
Y'all do know cannabis is a plant, right? And we've already established that cannabis is medicine. We should also consider all other herbs that they are medicine too. For example, lavender is good for relaxation. Mint supports digestive health. Time for rest. And let's just consider the fact that each of these plants are sprouted from the earth, which is the ultimate source of. It's such a high potency energy that we just cannot ignore, and tapping into that is everything to do. So as far as I'm concerned, herbs and spirituality go hand in hand. I would love to know what you think.
Hey there, Wendy Jo, co-host of the Grow Podcast. Also, Wendy Edge, occupational therapist. And I wanted to tell you about my new business where I'm combining the principles of occupational therapy, coaching, and spirituality, and wellness, of course. On the website, you'll see that I'm doing Osho Zen card readings, spiritual coaching, spirit paintings, and so much more. So if you want, check it out, edgecoachingandconsulting.com.
Have you heard of the Cannabis Nursing School? It's a place where cannabis nursing, entrepreneurship, and spirituality meet. The High Align Tribe is waiting for you, and it's so easy to find. CannabisNursingSchool.com.
And we're back. So, what are some of your other favorite herbs? Do you have any others that you are drawn to?
yeah. So, lavender and thyme together is just
Ooh.
amazing. And then I also like chamomile a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They and all three of them support relaxation and sleep. And I think that's where, like right now, that's kind of what I've been drawn to is herbs that help support that relaxation piece of it. Even when I'm working with some of them, like I just like to sit and I like to smell them and like just be with them. And that's like, I don't even have to consume them to get a response and helping me to feel more relaxed. And so it feels almost like a meditation all by itself to just sit with them.
Yeah, for sure. Lavender, I haven't ever used thyme
Okay.
medicinally. Yeah, that's cool. So that's another relaxing herb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check that out. I have some right here, some lavender. So what I do with the essential oils, I just put it like in my hand like this, and then
Mm-hmm. Yes.
oh, so good.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, smell is the most powerful sensation, I think, the most powerful sense. And so it goes right in there.
Yeah. It's
So you write down.
And it's so funny because I actually put the lavender and thyme and some coconut oil. My husband will make coconut oil, and my daughter has eczema really bad. And so I was just using the coconut oil on her face because she had some spots, just on her face without the lavender and thyme. But then when I put it in there, it was almost like she was drinking, and she was like, and she kept saying, she was like, I know that scent. I know that scent. She couldn't put her finger on it. And eventually I told her, and she was like, I knew that scent. So even in her little mind, like it stuck out to her. She didn't know where, she couldn't figure out what, but it was like something that she just felt so comfortable in.
Right. Yeah, your body knows what it needs, and smell, I think, is a really powerful test to that, Yeah, I hadn't used thyme, but chamomile and lavender I love also. Any herbs that are for reducing anxiety, reducing symptoms of PTSD, anything like that, I'm like, I want that. Yeah, there's lots of nature provides us with so many options.
Yeah. And you know what? We don't talk enough about them. We like it's almost like an underground thing where it's like if you know kind of thing.
Right.
Like, have you heard about it? And everybody's just kind of keeping these things. I envy those people whose like grandparents passed down some of those traditions. Because my mom is into plants, but I don't know if she first of all, I don't think I value the beauty of her love for plants. That's the first thing as a child. But I do recognize that, yeah, the plant growing process is beautiful, but then the entire lifespan of the plant is also beautiful. And it doesn't really matter what plant you're talking about. Because even cannabis root.
That's a whole nother one. We'll have to talk about that on another show. Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just crazy that like we spend so much time talking about the peak of life for plants, but we don't really talk about the entire lifespan. So
right. Yeah, that would be a good topic for sure. Well, I hope that if you're listening or watching, you learned something about herbs today. And of course, we're not dispensing medical advice, but we're just offering options. And I hope that they're helpful in your life.
They're just our experiences. No, we're not offering medical.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, everyone, have a great week. Bye.
Bye.